Hello, hello, hello.
How you doing? We are back. It has been quite a while.
It hasn't been too long.
Yeah, we had to take a little breather last week. We had a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah, it was some mental health break that we needed. Only because like you go through periods where things kind of seem overwhelming, or you taking a lot of people's I guess feelings or emotions that they're also going through. So it's like, oh man, you want to help them, and you
Yep.
do, but it leaves you feeling drained.
Yep.
So we took a mental health break, which is a good thing for anybody to do. We used to not do it, and
Put
then
your
we
mental
felt
health
frustrated.
Mental health comes first.
Yeah. Remember when we didn't?
Oh God, I know.
Ugh.
We were enablers.
Yeah. Like, I didn't like that at all. I didn't like feeling overwhelmed and tired all the time. And
It's a people pleaser slash satisfier, I think is what it was called. You put yourself last and you try to help everyone at once, and eventually it will burn you out completely. But it's a hard cycle to break too, because you do it for so long and then somebody points out that you shouldn't be doing it. But it's really hard to break. You know, if five people come at you with a problem and you want to help all five of them because that's who you are, but you don't have to live that life anymore.
yeah, but it's, like I said, work in progress. It takes a long time to break, especially if it's habit or routine. So,
Oh God, yeah.
but now, every great now and then we still have like a couple days of slip in. But overall, we've done a whole lot better than what we used to.
Oh yeah.
So that's why we took our little mental health break. This is actually the first part. I would say of like at least like a two-parter. Because we have our guest that's gonna come on and speak with us. We were supposed to do this one last week as like the beginner, so we're gonna do it this week and then have our guest come on next week. Just to get the ball rolling. So we actually posted about this not too long ago. Smear campaigning.
Yep.
And a lot of emails and text and questions came through. So we're going to try our best to answer most of them, but we're going to leave like a good, I wouldn't say like a good chunk, but a good of the tea, if you will, for our guest. Since she was kind of front and center of most of it that we went through, but we will discuss like a couple of the things that happened in 2021 and the dangers of smear campaigning.
Yep. This is the start. This is one of the main topics. You know, this one will be more so of a, hey, this is one of the things we went through personally. You know, that
and explain it more since a lot of people didn't know about
how we became about and how things, started.
And ultimately why we started our podcast.
Exactly.
Because we would have never started our podcast if it actually wasn't for that big smear campaign. And, we're going to discuss a couple of the things that you can actually do to avoid it as like a friend or a bystander or as like a first person point of view. So yeah, let's get started. We're going to read like a couple things that we kind of like came across as far as like the internet and stuff, and a couple of like the questions that we actually got that referred to smear campaigning. So if you have never heard of a smear campaign, it's actually someone who is taking I guess I wouldn't even say like petty, but somebody that is upset with someone else. Well, just a very mild, toned down version.
It could be from anything.
Anything. It could be relationship issues. It could be friendship issues. It could be just someone that they're, I guess, intimidated by. So they're like, oh, what's going to make me feel better? Let me go and discuss it with my friend or my coworker or what have you, or a family member. And it starts as innocently as that. It never starts off as something like cruel. So a smear campaign is called or referred to as a smear tactic or simply a smear in an effort to damage or call into question someone's reputation. Okay? So from that, something as innocent as, Hoss stands over there and acts like he's better than me. He goes to the gym and he flexes and he makes it just seem like his whole life is so much better than everybody else's. Like, it really pisses me off. It's something that simple, something as small as that will turn into, oh my God, I know, I can't stand him either. It'll be like the other person that you're talking to. And then it'll just keep going, because what starts off so innocently as like a joke or event or gossip turns into, I wouldn't even go as far as say as a hate crime, but it's a huge negative impact, especially when you have someone who is narcissistic to the T of, this didn't happen, this is what really happened, I need you to be on my side, so I'm going to make this person look as horrible as possible to get a group of people to also say terrible things about this person, because it makes me feel better on the inside. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what actually happened in 2021, because it started off with, they're lying, this is what really happened, and now I'm going to create this big shitstorm of a lie to make me feel better. So not only, okay, this is a very mild, condensed version of what actually happened. Not only did we get lied about, the cheating rumors, but my car was also attacked, because said person decided, I'm going to go to work, to home, to the grocery store, and I'm going to lay out this whole big, negative, toxic, big lie of a picture that I'm going to paint so y'all can see it. And I can play victim. And you will be on my side. So I actually had a bat go through my windshield. Someone popped my tire, all because of cheating rumors. And it's something as simple as that. And you don't think that it could be. Most people are going to be like, I would never put myself in that situation. That's never going to happen to me. I would have never been friends with that person. I wouldn't have allowed that to happen. Why didn't you go to the cops? Guess what? We did all that. Nothing ever came of it. Sometimes the story doesn't end happily. It actually ends in more smear campaigning, which is exactly what happened. Like, and I wouldn't sit there and say as far as like the people that kept like instigating it, but there has to be something in the back of your mind that says this is wrong. Like, why is she so gung-ho about this? Why is she sitting here telling me her whole life story and never really telling me what she did? But nobody thinks that way. Instantaneously, they're like, it has to be true because she said it.
Yep.
She has no proof. The only thing she has is maybe like an image of a screenshot that never shows her response or what like came about before your answer. And for me, speaking from my own point of view, I was manipulated into saying like a lot of things, which, I was honest about. I literally, it started off as innocent as someone venting, someone, saying, oh my God, guess what I heard? Something bad. But you always think nobody's ever going to read this. It's how we all are. We're human. So back then, I'm pretty sure if I look back on all the messages, because I kept them because I take accountability of my actions, there was a lot of stuff that was said, but also being instigated from the main source. Not saying I didn't do any wrong, I did, but it was manipulation that brought me there. And that's the side of the story that nobody ever talks about. And I would love for people to read it, but there's just sometimes people they're not gonna sit there and believe you. They're not gonna sit there and actually look at common sense, because the lie is so much more dramatic than the truth. Like, the truth is actually pretty boring. But I have enjoyed reading some of the stuff that I apparently did. Just not the smear campaigning.
Oh, yeah. I would say, like, okay, it's been proven time and time again. When the narcissist loses control or gets something taken from them, that's when the smear campaign comes. And basically what they'll do is they're upset that they lost control or lost power of a situation. So they will go out and smear whoever took that power from them, and smear as many people as possible to gain followers. As humans, when someone comes to you and, say your sister comes to you and says, "Oh my God, my boyfriend beat me." As an older brother, you're going to be like, are you kidding me? Like, no. So you're automatically going to take your sister's side, and you're going to go and confront, the source, be like, "Hey, look, you did this and this and this," when in all reality, not saying it didn't happen, but in all reality, it could very well be the fact that they just got into a petty argument and she stormed out and wanted to get revenge. By saying, because she knew that if she played the sob story and made up this whole horrific story, that she could get her way and feel better for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So, it's like.
And I think we're all guilty of, enabling that type of conversation. I wouldn't go as far as, like, say what we went through, where it wasn't just like, personal property damage, but we're all guilty of taking, like, our friend's side or taking our family side, because it's, like, ingrained in us to automatically believe what they're telling you, because you love them, you trust them that they're telling you the truth. But as far as it went for us, I don't see how anybody can be okay with that. Anybody. I've never destroyed anyone's personal property. Like, yeah, I may have said, like, a couple words or something, but even those words were wrong.
They shoved you into a shelf at work and walked by you at your place of work while you were working and slandered you behind your back.
Yeah.
Like, that's like severe harassment, all because of a smear campaign for a narcissist to get her way. So that's never okay. That's a monster.
Yeah, that is abuse. So it wasn't just that. There's a whole lot more. But you try to not engage, because you feel like if you do engage, it's just going to further the madness. But then it's a rock and a hard place, because, like, if you don't engage, then you're not defending yourself, you're not taking up for yourself, or you're allowing someone to treat you bad. You won't know until you're in that situation. You can say the same thing as we did, where we're like, I would never let someone do that to me. I would kick their ass, or I would do this and the third, but you don't really know, because your body almost is shocked that it's actually happening, that you're actually in this situation. And for me, that's what it was, is when I looked outside and I saw like 4 people surrounding my vehicle because of the smear campaign, and they were literally popping my tire and, pulverizing my windshield. There's 4 against 1. I didn't have anybody. So that's when you and Steve, y'all would come up there and pretty much take, routine turns of making sure that somebody didn't shove me into an aisle again, or, pop something else on my car. Like, that's dangerous, because not only are you trying to cause someone physical harm because of what someone has just told you, there's no proof that this person is telling you the truth, but you believe them.
Dog paws.
Dog paws. she is addicted to our cats, and whenever she hears them, she's like, I must have them. But yeah, dog paws. Where was I? Oh, so that's my brain part. So as far as causing someone physical harm or ruining their property, all because of something that one person has just told you, you have absolutely no proof. You're just like, oh, well, she said that this person cheated on her. Well, this person, was supposed to apparently be her friend. Well, this person was supposed to be her husband. And you know what? Forget them. I'm going to show them exactly what I think about them and then just destroy their reputation. I don't think people really think in that moment. I think they just are on the thought process of, I'm proving a point, or I'm taking up for this person, or I'm proving my loyalty to this person by doing this. And like I said, there's no excuse. So don't give me that look. I'm not excusing bad behavior. What they did was horrible, and it should never happen to anybody. So for me, that's why I definitely, excuse me, dog paws again. She is just a handful today. She has a lot to say about the smear campaign. But for us, we really wanted to do a 2-part series just because you really need to understand how dangerous this can get. Like, this was not so much that like a life and death situation, but it was enough to try to call physical harm.
it could have been.
It could have been.
What's to say they didn't mess with the brakes?
True.
And
Don't
you drive
scare me.
I'm saying, it's over now, but
Yeah, it's
But,
over. But don't scare me.
you never know.
It was a very scary time. Like, it was one of those things where you're consistently looking over your shoulder, like someone's stalking you. Someone is purposefully trying to cause you harm. So, yeah, that we really want to talk about the dangers of that. We really want to talk about not engaging in someone's gossip. Not enabling someone's gossip, not enabling their bad behavior. Unless you were there, unless you were in that relationship, unless you were literally physically there and saw something, I would not engage in something that had nothing to do with you. This is why I say stay in your lane and mind your business are super important things. Just because you don't know what's really going on. You don't know what really happened. What did they used to say back in like the 90s? It's his side, her side, and the truth.
3 parts to the story.
Yep. So for me, that's why I wanted to do the 2-part series. And honestly, I think anybody listening can pretty much say about the same, that we've all been in a situation where we shouldn't have been. But like I said, I don't think you go into it thinking, I'm going to cause somebody physical harm today. I'm going to hurt somebody real bad because of just some random stuff that somebody else was saying. And this person, is still walking around today doing the exact same thing to other people. Still putting it out there that, like, what happened wasn't as bad as she made it, or as we, quote unquote, made it out to be. But the proof is in the pudding. No pun intended, because I have this pudding in front of me. But the proof is in the pudding because we still have the pictures. We still have the damage. We still have all the conversations, even right down to actually creating a Facebook group where they actually took pictures of our whereabouts. Like, it can get so bad so fast, all because somebody wasn't happy. Somebody didn't like the way that things turned out to be, or somebody didn't have control, like you said. So for me, or really just in general, if you come across someone that is having relationship issues, just listen. You can offer solid advice without engaging or enabling physical harm on somebody, or gossip, or just look at it from your own point of view. Would you want someone else to do that to you? Would you want to be going through something like that? So I actually got this little thing right here. I'm gonna read it. And you know what? We might get some messages about this, but I think that you'll enjoy this too. Chomp is looking at me with her ice cream sandwich. Okay. What do narcissists get out of the smear campaign? Okay. This is something that I have came about. This is like 170 days ago. If you do not use or research for Reddit, I would totally look at it. But there's so many people on there that have been through almost the same stuff as us. So this is what it says. Every person I tell about what happened asks me what he gets from it and why he did it, and I fail to come up with any rational answer. What does he get out of destroying me? The only thing I can think is plausible is the fact that I left him and he lost control over me, or that I would even think about going against him or writing mean things about him. In essence, I gave him a narcissistic injury or sociopathic outrage. This is honestly so painfully demoralizing. He won't stop. It's killing me on the inside. Why did he pick me to scapegoat of all people? I don't know how much longer I can take this. What did I even do? And that right there is exactly how you feel during the process of all of it. Like, you sit there and wonder why people would engage in the gossip when literally these people, specifically in our situation, were hurting us. Would you stay if someone was hurting you? What would you do if that person who was hurting you started saying that it was all a lie and we're making it up? Even though you have solid proof and they don't, for some odd reason, they're believed over you. So ask yourself, what would you do? For me, I didn't engage. I called the authorities. I made sure that I had people with me at all times because I was being physically attacked at my job. That's what I did. But it makes you wonder what these other people who actually engaged would do if the same thing happened to them. Something to think about.
Oh,
What did you do, Hoss?
I ran. No, I dealt with the narcissists all my life, and it takes a lot to get the courage when you're so involved to step away. And there are two things that a narcissist will do that kind of get you. One, not only the smear campaigning, but it will severely degrade your mental health. Mm-hmm. Like, so much so that you may never recover all the way. You know, I've been, over 2 years, I would say, we'll just say sober from narcissist control, and I still have trauma triggers.
Yeah.
So it's long lasting depending on the severity of the abuse and the exposure. The second is they're master manipulators. So they could literally walk into a school and without even having proof, they could probably become a theater teacher and teach theater because they're so good at reactions and theatrics. They could play it on real thick, hey, we'll reference, the movie Mean Girls, and everybody's already seen that movie a million times. One, it's such a great movie. Mm-hmm. The popular girl, Regina George, everybody wants to be popular. Well, they create the burn book. Somebody that does something wrong to them, they write it down in a book. Well, they smear campaign all these people And then what happens? The smear campaign gets out of control, and lo and behold, their little burn book gets spread out to the public. And what are the results? What happens to the smear campaign? Well, it literally becomes astronomical proportions.
Yeah.
And the teacher gets arrested and goes through a drug bust, and the house gets raided because she gave somebody a bad grade, so they did a smear campaign on her saying she was doing drugs, or, all sorts of different things. For us, it's like, oh, apparently we were in, more so this giant affair for years,
Oh, yeah.
and it's like they spread these rumors, and then it's the snowball effect where it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until so many people get on the bandwagon of saying, oh my God, I didn't know they could do that, this, that, the other. Lo and behold, this year-long affair that we supposedly had turns into, oh my God, like we ran over somebody's dog, or we, did something crazy, or the fact like, oh my God, we're like, in this whole polygamy relationship,
Yeah.
it's like,
That was a big one too. I
yeah,
forgot
and
about
it's
that
like
one.
all of a sudden it's like, hey, just because, we separated from, our narcissist and, became really good friends, it was like, oh my God, they left us for one another. In all reality, we realized how much similarities we actually had between the childhood and the upbringing, the abuse, the betrayal from the friends, and it's like you bond over that. Well, that's a narcissist's worst fear, is losing control of you and you finding your self-worth again. Because they want to keep you at a point in your life to where you question everything, including your sanity, and you need a master. And when they lose their puppet, they go and smear you. And they don't care who they hurt in the process, It's the crocodile tears, For me, it's, if, say, like I'll go back to the, the sister, getting beaten by the boyfriend, If she goes to work and plays the theatrics of boo-hooing and says, my boyfriend beats me every night, this, that, the other, then everyone she tells that to at work, they don't know her home life, but they don't care because they're like, they can't believe that something like that happened, regardless whether it's true or not. So they side with her. And then the next thing you know, they spread the word and be like, oh my God, because they've seen you out and about, or they've seen you, at functions or parties, and they've met you, and they're like, oh my God. So then they put two and two together. So then they spread the word to other people who spread the word to other people. And then the next thing you know, your car's being destroyed at your place of work, and you have no idea what's going on, until someone tells you that, oh my God, hey, so-and-so said this, and I can't believe you did this, and I never liked you, and I hated you. And then you're like, that's not even what happened. Like, where did you even get that from? Well, they won't speak on where they got it from, but they'll just be like, yo, oh, you should know you're this, that, the other. And then lo and behold, months down the road, when the stories start not adding up, or the narcissist has told so many lies that they can't keep up, and people start, figuring it out, what exactly happened, and the narcissist can't remember all the lies, and they start backtracking, they start finding holes in the story. So then they're like, wait a second, they take a step back, and then they start trying to figure out the real stuff. Then they go to the people that they slander and smear, find out the real truth, and then everybody wants to come back. Like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're all guilty of it at some point.
I was about to say we're all guilty
know,
of it because it's
You
being
know,
human.
especially,
Like,
like school age kids,
oh
you're
God, yeah.
you're mad at somebody, like, oh my God, my girlfriend broke up with me in school, I hate her guts. She broke up with me, da 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 da, this, that, and the other. So you spread rumors about her so she doesn't get to be happy somewhere else. So lo and behold, that ends up getting around the entire school, and then she has no idea that you're doing this until people start treating her poorly. And then lo and behold, once they find out that he was just mad she broke up with him, then they want to try to come back and be best friends. And it's like, a lot of those people aren't sincere in their apologies. They just followed the gossip train because it made the spotlight of their life turn out for a brief moment so people didn't focus on them. And that's a human response. It's if you're going through something and somebody spreads a rumor, it takes you out of the limelight and puts the focus on somebody else so people don't see your insecurities.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's just what it boils down to, is that there's probably, I always say you look at it from like a 4-way street. Don't ever look at it just from like a 1-way or a 2-way street. Look at it from all.
Yeah.
Because literally that's how life is on any situation. Especially when someone is just trying to vent, trying to get that hurt out. They're going to say stuff that probably isn't all true. They probably blow it out of proportion. Some of it's innocent, but a lot of it really gets dangerous, and it needs to be talked about more, because if we had someone that had spoken with us about this, then I fully believe like it could have been prevented.
Yeah.
It could have literally been less scary and more as like a lesson learned, and hey, I know you're upset, but can we sit down and talk about it, instead of full-blown gung-ho, I'm gonna destroy you. Everything about you, your character, all of it. So this is another one. Somebody asked, how come everybody buys the smear campaign? And I really like this response. Those who buy it want to buy it for whatever reason. They are chosen because they are enablers. Some have been manipulated and lied to. Some don't really know you, so the narc narrative is all they get. Some enjoy the drama and the gossip. They become the narcs like flying monkeys. As the narcs supply and target, we genuinely become isolated. We do not talk about it, what we are going through. Sometimes it is because we are protecting the narcissist or protecting our family. Sometimes we are scared to speak out. And that right there is normally my response these days. We were an easy target.
Yep.
Because we did not engage for most of the time that we knew this person. We enabled a lot of bad behavior. And they honestly knew that we weren't going to battle back, I guess you could say. We weren't going to throw any type of missiles, nothing. We were just going to, hey, it'll eventually die out if we do not add fuel to the fire. And that is what literally made us the easiest target in the world, is by staying silent. And it's not easy. It's not easy telling the truth. It's not easy taking accountability. It's really difficult, but it's rewarding in itself, because you are changing the world. You are changing not only yourself for the better, but you're also changing the people around you by being open, by being a safe zone, by sitting there talking about your experiences, by not being afraid, and by being more confident about the mistakes that you've made, because you wouldn't be who you are without them.
Yep. Wisdom. Straight up.
So to me, that's a really good answer. You isolate yourself after everything. And I know I did. I isolated myself for probably about a month and a half, because I needed to wrap my head around this new world, without said person,
Yep.
Telling me that I need to do this and that I was this awful, human being and I should, be doing this and this and this and I need to do more for them. And when it's gone, it's like you can breathe, but you can't breathe.
Yep.
You you feel a sense of freedom, but you also feel like it's still there, like shackled to you, like your hands are still tied in some way because you're like, did I make the right decision? Dog paws. These are my puppies just arguing because they too are narcissists. No, I'm kidding. We're gonna break them up though. Hang on, just 1 second. Hey, sit. Step it. We're gonna get Chomp. Come here. They like to argue, but as we close this down, because we're gonna keep it really short today, we're not telling you that every piece of gossip is a smear campaign. We're not telling you that you shouldn't listen to your friends. You should be a good shoulder to cry on when they need it, or a good listening ear. We're telling you that smear campaigning goes above that.
Yep.
If they start getting to a point where that's all they talk about, where the only time they have a conversation with you is to pretty much debunk a bunch of stuff, about this person, or they're constantly going on their social medias and making comments about them, they're starting their smear campaign.
Yep.
They need to find like an army that's going to listen to them. And
Exactly.
you need to be different, because if you wouldn't want it done to you,
Yep.
what this person is doing, then don't do it to someone else.
Put yourself in the target's
Yes.
shoes. If your best friend is coming at you saying that I hate so-and-so's guts and this, that, the other, and they betrayed me and they did this, and you don't know for sure, and you go along with it, step back a second and look and be like, oh man, just imagine if I did that and I was on the other end of that target's shoes with everybody coming after me and calling me names and pointing fingers at me. How would it make you feel?
Yes.
And that's a big problem, is everybody reacts, nobody thinks. The first, anger is a devil's sin, because if someone is mad at you, they will do everything they can to find your weakest point and attack it and stab it over and over and over again to keep going and going and going. Not to mention, if you make a mistake or something happens, they're going to harp on that as much as they can, because that's a leverage.
Yeah. They're going to paint you out to be, you'll know it because you're going to see it. You're going to see them, this person's crazy, this person's unstable, this person's a bad parent,
Gaslighting.
this person is an addict, an alcoholic, a thief, a cheater. They're going to name off all this stuff that this person is. But about 6 months ago, they were in love with them. About 6 months ago, that person.
That's a good one. What is it called? It's a change of face.
Yep. Completely 360. You're going to see it. You're going to be like, what? 6 months ago, you were raving about this person. You were saying how amazing this person was, how awesome of a parent they were,
love
how
of my life,
my soulmate.
Yep. Oh, that was
a big one.
God.
That was a big one.
It's my soulmate. We were meant to be together. We had an endless love. There was nothing that could break us apart. We hardly argued. We didn't do this and we did that.
I don't understand why this is happening, because we had the picture perfect life.
Yeah.
Why would they do this to me? That is your cue to get up and walk away.
Yep.
Or you can stay and just give the most neutral answers and be like, I'm really sorry that that's happening and I wish you the best.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
Everybody wants to be there for somebody, but that's the wrong way to go about being there for somebody.
Do not engage and sit there and talk about, oh, you're right, why would they do that? That person is, a horrible human being. Oh, you dodged a bullet, you did this. Do not engage.
Yeah.
Tell them that you're sorry that this is happening and walk away.
I get that a friend wants to, when they see a closet narcissist, I'll call them, but when they see their friend in turmoil or despair, the natural human response is to make them feel better. Now, the only problem is when you there's a thin line between making someone feel better by joining the smear campaign,
Yep.
or generally making them feel better by, being a friend. There's a big difference, but there's a
Yep.
very small line between it.
Exactly. And you obviously were a really good example that you can survive a smear campaign. And
As were you.
honestly, I'm going to leave it I think we'll end it with just this little paragraph. As much as you are tempted to contact them, to beg them to stop, or to fight back, or to argue with them, you must not engage. They are looking for a reaction and will inevitably use anything and everything you say, write, or post against you in their attempt to prove whatever they have claimed about you. Stay silent. Until the right moment, because honestly, we stayed silent enough to eventually tell our story so it could help somebody else. Because we've had at least 2 or 3 people that have came down and spoken to us about it. And because we went through what we did and we gave them solid advice, like, try to stay as quiet as you possibly can, like defend yourself if you have to, because I would never sit there and tell somebody, if somebody's punching you in the face, don't defend yourself. Always keep yourself safe. You matter.
Yep.
But do not engage. Do not put your mental health at risk. Do not put your physical health at risk. Like, that's my 2 cents. And we're going to end it there just because I really want to keep like the main portion.
Yeah.
The really juicy details for part 2.
Lo and behold, last thing that I got, one of the other red flags to look out for in that situation, like if you're the victim and you're getting all that smear campaign and stuff, you'll hear
Survivor.
if you're the survivor, you'll be hearing all the stuff that you supposedly did, this, that, the other. Well, the thing that the narcissist will do the most, they will say everything they can think of to make you feel bad, to do this, that, the other. And then when you don't react or you don't do this, they'll start coming back to you and trying to win you back over by saying things, to try to reel you in, if you will. Oh, if you do this, then I'll do this, or I'll never bring this up again, or you can go do whatever you want to do, and I'll look the other way and turn my shoulder, and you can continue doing that as long as, you come back or you stay with me.
I remember that. You're making me remember, like, all this stuff, and I've totally forgotten about it. They did tell you that. I remember that.
If you're my soulmate, we were meant to be together. I hate that you left, but if you come back, I won't have the reins on you. You can go and be a free person as long as you come back to me every night. And that's an act of desperation on their part, because their smear campaigning is not getting to you the way that they wanted it to. They figured if they could smear you or slander you enough that you'd feel guilty and come back just to get it to stop.
Yeah.
And when that didn't work...
That's actually really good, smart, solid advice, because I totally forgot that you had told me that.
Yeah.
In fact, here recently, and I won't ramble too much because we wanted to keep it short, but we were told the other side of the story during the time that we had, pretty much isolated ourselves trying to figure out this brand new world, that we were in cahoots with each other, and I was actually writing your responses.
Oh, yeah.
even though you were sitting there writing this big book, it in some way triggered like, how dare he speak to me this way? It can't be him doing it. It has to be somebody else, because he wouldn't buck up at me like that. She could not wrap her head around the fact that you finally had a voice. So that's another thing.
That, and if anyone knows me, even if you don't know me, like when I have a passion towards something or I'm trying to get a point across, I write 5-paragraph essays through text message.
Oh, you're ruthless.
I
Like,
know.
there's sometimes like I don't skip it, but it's like I have to come back to it, because you've written me like a big book where you're like, let me tell you how you made me feel, and I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah, like my narcissist, I'm the survivor of my narcissist. After, we had, gone our separate ways, I had to throw a lyric in. But after that had done its thing, it was a part of the pity plea, I should say, to come back. And I wrote so much on Facebook Messenger in one message that it told me my character limit was reached. Now I'm not sure what Facebook Messenger's character limit is. I'm pretty curious to know, but you had to scroll, and it took 19 screenshots to get my full message. And the narcissist literally read all of it, but ignored all of it at the same time and continued on with the pity plea. So yeah, I will write a book in a heartbeat.
That sucks. Like, I still have all those messages, like, just to kind of go back. And it's not even like I'm gonna throw it out there and make this person look exactly the way that I want them to. No, it's a reminder for me. I keep it as a reminder that, this is what I survived, and this is the story that I'm telling to help other people, because I really wanted someone to be there. I really, really did. And nobody was there. It was very lonely.
This is why we're doing the podcast, is we know what we went through. We don't want anyone else to go through what we're going through.
Yep.
So even though we didn't have the advocate and the person on our side to tell us and give us the advice,
we became
on
those
how to do
friends
it,
for each
we
other.
became our own advocates.
Yep.
So now we're passing on our knowledge and passing on our experiences to enlighten you, to be like, hey, they went through this. This is how they handled it. This is the advice they gave me. So now I'm better equipped, because now I have someone to relate to. And that's the biggest part of surviving mental health issues and, escaping narcissism is validation.
Yeah.
If you have someone that's been through it, or you have someone who knows exactly what you're talking about and can relate to you, that's the validation you need to survive.
Yeah. And like I said, there's a very different way of looking at things, because I don't want people to sit there and think, well, that's how the smear campaign starts off, is by someone validating them. You cannot validate someone who chooses to consistently say something wrong about somebody else, but never take accountability for their own actions.
Yep. You can't validate a smear campaign.
Yeah, you can't validate that. That's us. We went gung-ho about not only validating what we went through, but taking accountability
for the part we played.
For the part that we played. And that's literally so important in the growth department and in the healing department. Don't ever mistake the two.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
My thing was zero communication and 100% enablement.
Yeah.
I gave in, and I put, my abuser on a pedestal, and almost like you treat your mother, you don't talk back to your mother, you don't swear at your mother, you don't buck up, as you will, at your mother.
And even when, there were probably times that you did, like from my own personal experience with my own, it was always mocked afterwards.
Yep.
Like, oh, you think you're the only one that goes through something, or
Oh God, yeah, that was a big one.
mine is, so much worse than yours. That's pretty much the answer that I got. But also, it was a moment during one of my therapy sessions where taking accountability not only for like the miscommunications, but also enabling someone
Yep.
to correct my view on how I was actually feeling to mimic theirs. So even if I didn't agree with it, I was manipulated into agreeing with it.
Yep.
So that's where a lot of those screenshots that she kept passing around were coming from. She never showed her answer.
Yep.
But she'd always show mine because it made me look like in the worst, like what you see on Facebook where it says, don't look at this picture and only see this, look at the big picture, and they zoom back out and it ends up being like somebody trying to help somebody, but the first like image looks like, somebody's getting stabbed. That's it. That's the difference. So
funny, that's how the news channels work. It's like, man. Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end it out there, but yeah, don't enable a smear campaign.
And really look at, research it yourself. It's all over the place now, thank God. Do your own research. Don't just take it from us. And that's how I am with everybody, with the kids, the girls, with anybody that actually wants to sit down and talk to us about certain things. We're an open door.
Yep.
We're a safe zone, as a lot of people are saying, which actually warms my heart.
Yep. We actually just got told that, today, as a matter of fact. And my quote was, hey, this is just like Planet Fitness, this is a judgment-free zone.
You're so corny. You're such a dad. I love it.
So,
I love you so much. You're so funny.
I'm telling you. But that's all I got. Stay tuned next week for,
the part two.
If you've been wondering roundabout exactly how we became and the actual story.
How it came to fruition.
Yeah. Versus just, hey, this is our experience here or that or growing up or this, that. No, this is the meat and potatoes for the podcast startup.
I like that.
Yeah.
Meat and potatoes.
This is the meat and potatoes. Now that we got a feel for you and we've reeled you in. No,
where's the gravy?
The gravy comes afterwards. Where you can smear it all over it. No, I'm just... Yeah.
That's the only smear we like.
That's right. Smear that gravy. Smother, if you will. Smooth, smothering gravy.
I want gravy.
Oh.
Sounds good, don't it?
Turkey gravy and cauliflower mashed potatoes.
Yes.
Yeah, snap peas. Yeah.
Okay, with that, we're ending it. I know we already said that like 5 times, but we're serious now.
Yep,
so
game over.
We are going to do a 2-parter come the, 20... No, we're going into July.
30... Let's see.
That's going to be the 4th.
Tuesday's 4th of July.
So we're going to have to...
Wednesday's 5th.
Definitely...
The 5th.
We're going to have to definitely, record it earlier than Wednesday, because everybody's going to be doing fireworks and stuff. So with that, we will do Monday or Tuesday for like a recording then. Well, no, Tuesday is
the 4th.
So the 5th would be okay.
The 5th would be okay, Wednesday.
Okay. We can do that. We can do it. Sweet. We're already in July.
I know.
Holy crap. Okay. With that, we end our 13th. Our 13th reason. I'm kidding. Y'all stay safe out there. Research yourselves. It's all over Google. Just search for smear campaigning. Look at Reddit and stuff. There's like a bunch of stories on there. We had a few emails, but nothing that really like put it off into like the smear campaign theme. So with that being said, I am still answering most of them. I am not ignoring you. We just had to take a little bit of break. Keep them coming.
Yeah. Especially this is going to be a really big one. So if you have any questions regarding smear campaigning or any more questions about narcissism, or if you need
toxic
advice,
moms, parents, what have you,
anything
like,
we've talked about or anything you would like us to talk
yep,
about,
we can wrap it right on back around, and Ashley should be back for this one. She's in the process of moving. We just helped her paint. So with that, we're going to end it. Stay safe out there. Email us anything. We're here for you. You got anything to say? How much you love me?
I'm loving it. I don't know.
You're so cute.
I did nothing.
All right, you guys. Peaches, pages.
Bye.